You know, I've talked very little on this podcast about
Tell me.
Kansas City.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it on your shirt.
Do you? Oh, that's right. I guess not everyone's watching this, but I just like.
Oh, that's not why I was saying it, but look how thoughtful I seem.
I would like everyone to know. The Chiefs are the world champions.
I think everybody knows that by now.
They should. Just wanted to remind everybody.
It makes me want to sing that song, Kansas City, Here I Come. But because I love everybody, I'm not going to sing.
I like
also, I'm not sure that song is super appropriate now that I'm thinking about it.
Hey, so here's what we're going to talk about today is we live in a world that loves to tell everyone else how to live their lives.
Careful with that, though, because yes, it does. But so I think we all have, even us, have stuff that we love. Like I asked you earlier, if you could give like one piece of advice to people, what would it be? What'd you say?
One piece? No, you didn't say. No,
what I say? If you could make people do one thing.
If I could make people do one thing.
Yes.
Like, and it's only one. Like they're like.
Yeah, just one.
I would say I would make everyone go to church.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
Well, mine, I don't even want to say it because mine sounds super shallow when you say that. I was just saying use your blinker, not only because it's safe and helpful, but because it's just one small thing that I think would turn into big things. But yours is one big thing that will impact all the small things. So.
That's what like I would like to make people do a lot of things. So it was hard. So on a whim, I was like, well, I guess I just would make everyone go to church.
I like that one.
But now someone's going, yeah, well, I grew up in a really bad church, and I understand that. I'm just saying.
I was just asking because we all have that, and I think in specifically in the chairs that we sit in, like the tables that we're at, the roles that we have, we experience a lot of times people out of love and really well intentioned give us a lot of feedback about what everybody else should be doing, or what we should be doing or whatever. Because in goodness, I think people want people to be healthy.
Sure.
People want their neighborhoods and communities safe. People want people to know Jesus. People want others involved in their causes. And so oftentimes we just end up saying, hey, you should this or you should that.
Yeah. Yeah. We now everyone has the opportunity to go onto the internet and say what everyone else should be doing.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, but that's kind of like what we do now is we watch something nationally, and then we go to the internet to see what everyone thought of it and what should have happened and what shouldn't. I'm saying like, it's almost like a State of the Union address, and you can watch it and be like, okay, that wasn't bad or that was horrible. And then you go on the internet to see, oh, everyone else thought this. Okay, then then that's the expectations I should have.
Well, it's even expanded because specifically for the Super Bowl, not only now are you talking about when even within the last 15 years, it was just how were the commercials? Which one was your favorite? What plays did the refs call that you hated?
Sure.
And then how was the halftime show?
Sure.
Now we're like assessing how the wives and girlfriends of the players are dressed and where they're sitting. And like, it's insane. It's everything.
Yep. So,
I just don't want to watch any of it. And then I won't have to worry about it.
In a world of really, I think demanding a lot of everyone, I feel like is where we're currently at. We demand a lot of everyone. Perhaps that has left a lack of balance in what we demand of ourselves.
Well, there's an old adage about how we often see ourselves through the lens of our intentions, what we hope to do. We give ourselves kind of the benefit of the doubt.
That's literally how most of us apologize.
But
I did not intend.
Right. But I think
to punch you in the face.
If we're looking at ourselves and somebody else, we see ourselves through the lens of our intentions, but we see others through the lens of their actions.
Sure.
And so we often end up giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt.
Sure. Yeah, so, like if we make a mistake, we have a reason to why that mistake deserves a little bit of grace or mercy. If someone else makes a mistake, we're like, but how much can I sue you for?
Yeah, burn it down.
Yeah,
right.
And I am going to find a way to get everything I've ever wanted that I don't even deserve out of this thing.
Yeah.
And so demanding is an interesting thing that what it's doing to us is I think it's kept us from looking in our own mirrors at ourselves.
Yeah.
And we need to talk about it. So
this is a conversation all the time because so much of what I do is working in the community, specifically with leaders who have given their lives to a specific cause, homelessness, hunger, foster care and adoption. And so they're so passionate. And what I love about the leaders in our community is they're in their lane and they want to know how they can mobilize people to be part of that, but also how they can serve and support. And what I've loved about that is they're doing what God's called them to do, but they're also helping other people do what God's called them to do. It's often people who are not in the trenches like that, who have opinions and a lack of kindness, or even opinions and a lack of appropriate wording. Because a lot of times we end up saying instead of, hey, how you feeling? How you doing? How's everything going? We go, you look tired. You need more sleep. Well, the person already knows that. Or you should eat healthier. It looks like you've packed on a few pounds or whatever. Oftentimes the person already knows what we're saying, right? And so they already know that that's true. And so I put here, just as we were talking, if you build it, they will come is kind of a thing that we say all that.
Field of Dreams.
I've never watched that movie.
You've never seen that?
But Kevin Costner,
Catherine.
The list of movies I've not seen
is disappointing.
I'm very comfortable with it, but it's way longer than the list of movies I have seen. I just don't. I don't like to sit for 2 hours and watch something I might not like, and I can't get that 2 hours back.
I apologize. This is going to come across harsh, but it's not how I intended.
The answer's already no. Thank you.
Your citizenship as a United States of American citizen.
That's not accurate.
I might have to revoke this.
No.
I'm saying it's in jeopardy. Your
no, because
citizenship
instead of
is
watching
in
Field of
jeopardy.
Dreams, I'm reading the Constitution.
Yeah, don't read
fine.
the Constitution. Watch Field of Dreams.
No, thank you. I love Kevin. Is Kevin Costner's in it? Adore him. Dances with Wolves. I did watch that. Amazing. I'm not watching Field of Dreams.
You're okay with Dances of Wolves,
See,
but
here's
not
what we're talking about. You go home and watch Field of Dreams, and if it sounds really nice, I'll come sit with you. So instead of if you build it,
because I'm an American.
If you build it, they will come. You're proving my point right now. I love you so much. If you build it, they will come.
Right.
If
you build it, they will come.
If you model it, they might actually do it.
Brilliant.
Right?
That's smart. That's
probably
me
more writing something. Okay, so there's
mature.
a guy that did this. He was finding himself frustrated, let down, and actually starting to get really judgmental and a little arrogant about how awesome he was and how nobody else was doing the things that he thought that they should be doing.
Sounds like a fun
Do you know
guy to be
what it
around.
reminds me of? It reminds me of me before we had kids. And we'd be like at a restaurant and I'd be like, oh my goodness, my children will never do that. And then we had kids and I went, do we have to go out to eat in a restaurant? Because I don't even want to bring kids to the restaurant because, I always thought it would be whatever. So he decided to make micro changes, he calls them.
Micro.
Do you
remember Micro Machines?
I do. Was that the one where the guy talked really fast in the commercials? He stressed me out. Okay.
Sorry.
So March 11th, he decided to start making at least one change. This was a few years ago. At least one change in his life every day.
Every day.
Because he thought, so he subtly communicates, I'm doing it better than everybody else, but their lack of willingness to do it my way is stressing me out so much that I'm just going to give myself a little more attention. So the first day, he started taking cold showers for the last 60 seconds of the shower. That was change number 1. A few days later.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
When he makes this change, does he then continue that change? Or was that like a one-day commitment?
That's a really good question. I think we're going to be able to infer as we're watching through that maybe not all of these could stick.
Okay.
Because there's so many, like he catalogs, and some days there's more than one change.
I could do 60 seconds of a cold shower one day. I'm just trying to find out, can I do this?
Just the last 60 seconds. So you can have it at 300 degrees until the last minute.
Right.
Okay, so set a goal of learning one new song per week in the guitar. Started keeping my shoes organized. See, this is where I'd go, I'd like my kids to do that. No, Katy, are you doing that? Okay. My favorite is March 19th. No more snoozing alarm clocks. I'm
prayer I
a
have.
snooze button person. And if anybody wants to do something fun, when I was in college, I lived in a sorority and I was in like a sleeping dorm, and my alarm clock sound was Celebrity Jeopardy from Saturday Night Live. My friends did not like me that semester very much. March 22nd, saying people's names when I say hello. Ooh, brushing his teeth with his weak hand. Doing one charitable thing a day, stretching for 10 minutes a day. March 22nd was a big day for him. All right. Just going through April 14th, take the stairs whenever possible. April 25th, stop cracking knuckles. Now I want to crack my knuckles. May 14th, add a slice of lemon to his water every day. May 23rd, brainstorm and write down 10 uses for a random object each day. It starts sounding like he's pulling a little bit. So the last 2 days, July 11th. So we started on March 11th.
Okay.
July 11th, wash laundry with cold water as opposed to hot. July 12th, the last day he records, not because he died, but because he just stopped recording. We're not taking a turn. That was just the last day he decided to record. July 12th, lead by example as opposed to telling people what to do. I think there's so much power in that because, again, not that we shouldn't give ourselves some grace and benefit of the doubt, but one of the things is you're learning and growing and experiencing life, which comes with a lot of opportunities for relaxing and enjoying life, but also a lot of stress and potential conflict. I think sometimes we get so kind of just trapped in our own echo chamber or in our own preferences that if you find yourself more often than not talking about what others should be doing, just spend some time reflecting. In his account, he's not saying, yeah, I started praying every day, or he wasn't doing that. I would recommend, how am I walking with the Lord intentionally? Because if I'm constantly thinking about what others should be doing, and some of the stuff you want other people to do might be really great. Like, we tell our kids to brush their teeth because they need to brush their, like, that's a good thing to do. But he really was seeking to change his heart, to stop demanding and start to model. James 1:22 says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. And so I wrote a few notes, and I'd love for you to just unpack anything that you think of. Remember that not everybody is like you. Yeah. And for me, that has been, there are people in different seasons of life. So we have a lot of people that we know whose kids are out of the house. So the way that they're spending their time and their lives looks way different. They can get up in the morning and go to the gym for 2 or 3 hours. They can schedule a lunch every day with somebody. They can travel whenever they want. That's not our life right now. And so recognizing that. And if I just took off on trips all the time, that would get expensive and confusing. Different personalities, different experiences. Not everyone is like you or me. And then start living your life ready to grow and improve and see what God does in your heart and the hearts of others. Those were my 2 takeaways from his just vulnerability of sharing where he was at and what he was doing. Because I think we see that a lot too, where it comes from a good place, but it can turn kind of yucky real fast.
One, if everyone were like you, the world would be a better place. Just want you to know.
You're so nice, but I know that you probably have some amendments to that you can share.
It makes me think of some things about this. So when you're spending all of your time, not all your time, but a lot of your time evaluating how others have done and what they're doing and why they're not doing it, and they should be doing it this way, and because this is how you should do life, right? Because that's it, kind of rooted in a belief of this is how you should do life. That's probably even too big thinking. Like, this is how you should drive. This is how you should run your morning schedule. This is how you should address your kids in this way. This is how your desk should look, that kind of stuff. Well, we get
Sounds like the first few years of marriage, though, like, this is how the house is going to look.
Right. This is how you should fold the towels, all that kind of stuff. What you learn is, it's like is it agronomy?
Agronomy, the study of dirt. farming. Is
Yes.
that what you mean?
Yes.
I'm so proud of you for using that word. That's awesome.
What
I've influenced you.
what you're growing is important,
Yes.
but what you're growing has different demands on how you help it grow.
And even prep the soil.
In other words, different trees, plants, grass, stuff you grow has different kinds of watering schedules.
Mm-hmm.
We don't let that transfer over to how we treat other human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to make everyone follow the same watering schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We try to make everyone follow the same kind of, well, this is the fertilizer you have to have. Where if you treat that person, not to get all weird, you got apple trees and you got oak trees and you got all that. One of the things that if you're just struggling being overly demanding of your kids, your spouse, your friends, your church,
complete strangers,
your workplace, your boss, all that kind of stuff, understand that the way you can back up a little bit off of people is saying, is this like a major moral issue?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I just upset that they don't have the same watering schedule that I have for my life? Mm-hmm. And sometimes it changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a big deal, is agronomy. Let God teach you through what God created, and God put all different kinds of things requiring different kinds of amounts of things.
Mm-hmm.
There's some similarities, right? Mm-hmm. Things that grow need some wind, need some water, need some sunlight. But you're talking 3-4 things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the schedules to that, the amount of stuff, it's why all over the world, different things grow based on the amount of sun, amount of water, all that kind of stuff. God's so good with that. Could we all be diverse enough that we need a few of the core things, but the timing, the way we go about doing it, all that kind of stuff can actually be a little more unique than we're allowing others to experience?
We talk a lot in the nonprofit sector too about there are causes that are all different. And if everybody went to one cause, then all of these other lanes would be empty and work would not be happening that needed to get done. If everybody went to the coffee shop that you went to in the morning, you'd hate it because then the line would be too long and it would be a different experience. And so unpacking even the sometimes I think one of the reasons though is because we see ahead and go, if you would just do this one thing, it would help you and you'd be better. And I want you to have a better experience or not be hurt or frustrated or whatever. That's the well-intentioned. But I think so many times, sometimes too, I think it could be a need for validation that I want to be your friend. And if you're not going to be my friend, then that says something about maybe I'm not good enough. Well, no, maybe we're just in different seasons of life, or maybe we're just not a good fit, whatever it is. I think getting to the root too of why am I demanding so much?
That's why it's
from
a
other
classic.
people.
It's a classic premarital counseling preparation lesson we'll teach is they'll both fold towels differently, and the end result is the towel is folded.
Yes.
And if they're going to make this matter a major matter that devalues the other person, it is, again, you've gotten into, I'm so demanding on you that I've got the attention completely off of me now, and that's the distraction. So that's one of the things classic, pay attention to. There's different watering schedules, different amounts of nutrition, all that, which means we're all made uniquely. We have core needs.
And core truths.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But much of what we're demanding isn't even close to that core stuff, at least that. A second one is in Scripture, Jehoshaphat is in charge. All of a sudden, they're going to get attacked, and people freak out when you get attacked. You can even go back to the Hebrews. As soon as Moses leads them out, within a few days, they're like, why'd you take us out? Blah, blah, blah.
We were better in the chains.
Were graves in Egypt that bad? Why do we have to have a grave out here in the wilderness? All that. And you begin to really get demanding rather than look at what you could actually be a part of. And one of the lessons we learned back with Jehoshaphat is, as they're surrounded and the king's like, we're screwed. Rather than get into the demanding and lamenting, he focuses himself and he asks for the harp to be brought. He's like, they're going to get killed. They're about to get slaughtered. And he's like, bring the harp. It's like, sir, you mean the sword?
Machine gun?
You mean bring the captains? No, bring me someone who plays the harp. What he was doing was he wanted to get his focus on the right thing, not the dangerous thing or the thing that he didn't like or that he was lamenting. So one classic lesson is brave people, mature people spend their time directing their focus, not blaming and projecting that onto other people. So one of the most courageous things you can do in your own life is that quote you said, instead of build it and they will come, model it. One of the bravest things you could do is choose to model what you don't like about society nowadays. Say, you know what? Rather than demand, I'm going to model it.
Oh yeah.
Direct your life, and don't minimize the power of modeling what needs to be done. Don't just think the way to get it done is to blast it on social or go gossip to a friend or to yell at someone. Model what you think should happen. And once you're modeling it, I am amazed at how many people catch on what you've modeled rather than what you've even said. As a parent, it's always frustrating. What you model is a big deal.
One of the things I've learned, I was teaching middle school and high school in Kansas, and I would hear all the time from people in the community and in the church, like, oh, these kids are just not the way they used to be. And, like just lamenting about how awful the kids were. And I'm thinking, I'm with them every day. And I mean, they're kids. I don't come home like going, that was amazing. I feel so well rested after 8 hours on my feet with a bunch of teens. However, they were incredible and gifted and just needed life spoken into them and people to walk with them. And I remember that season of life, I became such an advocate for not only being a mentor at like Big Brothers Big Sisters or getting involved then in initiatives or volunteering at a school, but get involved in your kids ministry at church or at the student ministry at your church. Like start being active and engaged. Instead of saying, oh, they're not like they used to be or whatever, well then go be part of helping make life change.
Yeah.
Step into it instead of just screaming from the sidelines. That's a classic example that I have been so grateful to have learned early. Because a lot of times that might be the Lord inviting you to press into an area, but instead you just go, I hate that.
De-escalation, a technique with that is someone who's out of control, you don't meet them at their level of out of control. You model calm, at peace, voice and demeanor. I just saw this was done on an airline recently. There was a flight where two people were fighting over something, and it got de-escalated by someone who didn't match it, but was doing the basic techniques. And so I think it's a good thing for us to think about how we are quick to demand and less quick to model. So switch them in your life. Be quick to model what needs to be done. And then I think you can have better conversations with friends and family and people going, hey, this needs to be in your life. You can get a bit more demanding, but start with modeling.
Amen.
You're a model. No? Yeah?
And never mind.
I love to put you back on your heels. It's great.
It's hilarious.
Hey, thanks for listening. We love you very much. Until next time. See
Peace
you
out.
later.
Bye, friends.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.